Right. Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to our Women in Sectional Title webinar. Thank you for joining us. A Women in Sectional Title platform really wants to draw in women from our industry, from every sphere of our industry, to form one vibrant, collaborative community. We aspire to connect, to develop, and to share with women in this growing industry. So I think it's honestly just an amazing platform to link people who've got common interests and common goals. And we're incredibly lucky to have amazing sponsors, amazing key players in our industry to assist us and to help us and who share our vision and who see the benefit of this kind of initiative. So we are really happy to have them, and I'm looking forward to an in-depth discussion with each one of our sponsors today to see exactly what they can offer and what their services are. We're talking about things like finance, insurance, solar, software, and also audits of sectional title complexes. So there's lots to talk about, and the representatives from each one of our sponsors is here today. We have Philip Badenhorst from ZFIN. We've got Kayla Potgieter from CIA. There's also Advocate Jade Adair from Sectional Titles Solutions. We've got Toby van der Merwe and Maritza Buerta from We Connect You, and Alistair Scholz and Monique van Wyk from PKF Octagon. So welcome to you all. I'm going to go through my questions with you one by one. So as I call your name, then you can just unmute and come to the party. So best we get started. All right, Philip, I'm starting with you today you're in the hot seat. Philip, welcome. Lovely to see you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
It's a great pleasure. So ZFIN addresses a range of financial challenges, specifically talking to sectional title schemes. So I'd like to find out what's the trend with the financial challenges. I'm sure we've got an idea, but what are they, and how is ZFIN involved in addressing those challenges?
Okay, so some of the few ones that we encounter most of the time is obviously your non-payment of levies. I mean, that's a big issue in most of the schemes in South Africa. And the fact that if a member doesn't pay their levies, it then results in the body corporate experiencing cash flow issues. And our remedy for issues like that is either our specialist collections or we're also offering levy finance. So specialist collections is mainly just where we as attorneys working for ZFIN will manage the external panel of attorneys, and we also most of the time assist with the soft collections to make sure that there's adequate collection efforts. And then obviously the levy finance product, which I will elaborate a bit more on later on. A second issue that we often see in schemes is incorrect budgeting. Where the schemes doesn't budget correctly for their maintenance reserve fund, which then result in the scheme not having sufficient funds to attend to the 10-year maintenance repair and replacement plan. And for that, we most often assist the schemes then there with just your normal project, or like we used to call it, a vanilla loan. The third issue I would say that we see often in the schemes is mismanagement of funds, where the scheme is either over or underinsured, where the scheme doesn't pay their service providers. They don't have sufficient funds to attend to critical maintenance issues that need to be addressed in the schemes. There's outstanding bills to the councils of the various cities. So yeah, that's the three most important ones. And then with the mismanagement of funds, how we usually assist there will then be through our executive managing agent service, where you get in a team of specialists who have experience within the sectional title space, and where we can make sure that the scheme is actually being run like a business. Because at the end of the day, every scheme is a business. So yeah.
For sure. And yeah, look, levies is a major thing. And I'm really disheartened by many of these debtors. Their attitude is very much they pay their bond, but the levy is so they'd rather go to the Vaal River and spend money on their boat than pay their levies. And I understand when you have indigent people who battle with the levies, but otherwise, I think people have generally got a slightly bad attitude towards paying the levies. Again, what interests me, you mentioned, and I saw on the website, the levy solution sort of financial package type of thing. Tell us a bit more about that.
So, yeah, we call it levy finance. So how it works is it's a cash flow product. So essentially what happens is we take over the management of the levy roll. And so on the first of the month, let's say, for example, the levy switch the scheme raise in that month, that includes your recoveries as well, amounts to 100,000. Then we will advance the scheme on the first of the month, that 100,000, so that they know that they get sufficient cash in to address any expenses that they have within the month. And then, yeah, then the members will pay into our trust account, and we then take over the legal collections as well, because you need to address the core issue being the non-payment of levies. And if you don't address that, then the levy finance product is not going to work. That's essentially what it boils down to.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of this kind of financing over the years, and I think if it's properly put together and properly considered, the main thing is not to keep that body corporate in a cycle of debt, and I think
Yes.
Zedfin's quite successful in that regard.
Yeah, because
okay.
So, yeah, like I said earlier, a sectional title scheme is a business, and it must be run like a business. And any business, if you start up or if you want to grow, you need capital. So there's a financial product, there's room for it, and it is something that can definitely work and take the scheme to the next level, but it must be used correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where the catch lies.
Also, you mentioned executive managing agent. So I know we were chatting about it at the NAMA Expo last week. This executive managing agent seems to be gaining traction, the whole word, and it's actually the CSOS have even taken notice, because in their proposed amendments, which should come out much later, maybe even next year, they talk every time the managing agent is mentioned in the bill, they say or executive managing agent. So you've obviously seen the gap there and are taking that gap. And what do you think? I mean, are you seeing a greater interest from managing agents? Because at the beginning, there really wasn't an interest in this.
So I must say, within the last year, the executive managing agent service, it's gaining a lot of traction. Currently we're sitting with between 8 to 12 inquiries a week, where a scheme will approach us, and that's purely just because either members don't want to stand as trustees anymore, or there's no interest from members to be trustees, or the old board is just tired and they don't want to continue being trustees. Because at the end of the day, being a trustee is also a thankless job. And then you have Z management who can offer you the service, and we have the experience, we have the knowledge, we know what must be done, we know how the scheme must be run. So yeah, it's a win-win, but yeah, it's gaining a lot of traction, and like I say, we are getting a lot of inquiries recently.
And I think it'll get more important, because in terms of the amendments that will come in that I was talking about, there's going to be an indemnity by the body corporate for executive managing agents, which hasn't been there. That's why they were scared of the liability, I assume. Yes.
That is something that we always consider, but at the end of the day, someone needs to do the job. And that's why we're here.
Fantastic. That's great. Thank you very much. Thanks, Philip. So Kayla from CIA, if you'd like to unmute and come onto the screen. So you guys are actually just around the corner from our offices here, and I know that you're always involved with innovative things. But can you mention a few trends which you're currently dealing with in the sectional title space from an insurance point of view?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for the portal repairs. When you said you were in bed with you, I was like, yes, okay, so it's you doing that. Thanks for that. So a trend which is on the rise, especially in the last year, is that of theft of funds by fraud, dishonesty, and computer crime, as well as data breaches. So it's very important for schemes to make sure that they have fidelity and computer crime cover in place. Now, I know it's already been a requirement for a couple of years in terms of the Act to have this cover in place, but unfortunately, we still see many schemes who are not adequately insured, or some insurers are insufficient. So it's very important for these schemes to make sure that they've got full cover for fidelity and computer crime, as well as that the sum insureds are correct, and then also calculated every year at their AGMs. And then another trend, while it's not actually a trend, for us at CIA, it's a daily occurrence, especially now with the ongoing load shedding and the increase, with the fires due to load shedding and also the winter cold, the increased use of heaters, candles, and also, what's the word now? Sorry, candles, heaters, and then cell phone chargers, actually. So, that's fire. So with the increases in fire, people need to remember to plug out heaters, hair dryers, hair straighteners, because now with load shedding, people forget that these appliances are plugged in. We actually received a claim yesterday from a body corporate in PE where a lady forgot that her heater was plugged in, and she got ready for work during load shedding. When load shedding came back, or the power came back on, a piece of clothing was close to her heater, which caused a fire. And that's a 220,000 Rand claim. So it's very important for people to realize that these appliances need to be plugged out. I never knew that cell phone chargers could actually also cause fire when they overheat, but it makes sense, right? So with CIA, we deal with about 300 fire claims every year, which equals to almost one every single day. So that's very scary. And also to try and help and assist people, we launched a new newsletter series called Firewise. It's about fire protection and safety, and it's in collaboration with the Fire Protection Association of Southern Africa. And anyone is welcome to subscribe to this newsletter. It's available online at our website at www.cia.co.za. So you can go and subscribe there. And I think Lisa also shared the first part of that newsletter on the Facebook page as well.
Well, thank you. That's amazing. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I think working at your office might be like a bit scary. Hey, you can go home a bit anxious every day because you're seeing exactly what's happening with all these claims. Yeah. I'm sure that every day can be quite difficult. And apart from the fire issues, what other piece of advice could you give trustees on insurance? Yeah.
Okay, Marina, my advice would be to have a qualified broker, one who understands schemes and the legislation applicable to schemes, and a good broker will be able to assist you and tell you what cover is required for your scheme, as well as be able to provide advice on what's covered in terms of your policy. And then other than that, I would also say when it comes to trustees and managing agents, always compare apples with apples. Don't only look at premium when choosing an insurer, as at the end of the day, you get what you pay for, and this is clearly seen when it comes to coverage and service.
Okay. You know what is quite interesting is also in the sectional title amendments, in terms of Section 39, which is the section for the Community Scheme Ombud Service Act that you can ask for relief, for the prayers for relief. One of the prayers that they want to put in there is an order to compel, that CSOS compels the body corporate to get insurance if they haven't got it. So I think that is also really, really positive news. And what's happening at CIA? Anything different? Anything that you guys are up to? I know you're always up to something.
Yes, so this year we are very excited. So our focus has always been on broker training and education. So finally, for the first time since COVID, we will be launching our newest CPD approved training, and we'll launch that with nationwide roadshows where we'll go and do the training in person, which then also gives us a chance to meet with our brokers face to face again. So we are extremely excited for that, and more info will follow on that soon.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thanks, Kayla. Greatly appreciated. Yes, Mike Addison, Kayla does rock. Thank you for that message. Nice to have you on board as well, Mike. Okay, so now we're going to Advocate Jade Adair from Sectional Title Solutions. Jade, very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Marina. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be here today. I think this is such a fantastic session. And yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity.
No, it's a pleasure. So when I was having a look at your website, solar seemed to be something that really, really popped out for me. And I mean, with the national energy crisis that we're going through at the moment, solar is what's on everyone's lips, even here at our office. Every second matter, please can you add a solar clause to our conduct rules? Can you tell us how to go about doing it? So yeah, I think that it would be lovely for you to tell us what Sectional Title Solutions has to offer with regard to solar in your schemes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's such a hot topic right now. Everyone's chatting about solar. Like you said, we've also received an influx of queries about solar, but you know, SDS is here to help in a sense, but it's not just about solar, it's also about energy solutions for community schemes specifically. So not just about your solar panels, but also thinking about how you're going to store that energy. So through battery storage and perhaps looking at geyser controllers and maybe hot water solutions as well. So expanding the narrative on not just solar, but energy solutions for community schemes for sustainability going forward. So there's a couple of ways that SDS is helping community schemes today. So I know one of the biggest issues is these solutions are really expensive, Marina. They're really, really expensive. If you're looking for battery storage and solar panels for your entire scheme, it could be quite pricey. And yes, we can raise a special levy, but it's going to take us a while to kind of get that cash in hand. So SDS offers this great solution called project funding. You can raise your special levy, but we can give you payment terms over a longer time, which really kind of takes that pressure off of the scheme. So project funding is one of the ways that we can assist. And of course, if perhaps the reason why you don't have funding to be able to install solar or battery storage or any of those kinds of solutions, even a generator, for example, because of the arrear levy issues in your scheme, we also have arrear levy funding, which can assist with that. And of course, we're very into our bespoke funding solutions. So you can chat to one of our solution consultants and we'll be able to put, you know, a bespoke funding solution together for your scheme that works for you with terms that suit you. But, you know, I think a lot of trustees also maybe they aren't so keen on the loan funding solutions, and that's okay because we also have a second option for you. We have partnered with an incredible company called Bright Light Solar, and we're super proud to be able to offer this solution, which is directly focused for community schemes specifically, and it's a fully funded energy solution for community schemes. So what does that mean? That basically means that we will be able to fund and pay for the costs of installing solar panels or a battery storage, geyser controllers, anything that suits the energy requirements of your scheme. We'll pay for the installation, like I said, the equipment, and then we'll install that for you. And the owners will only have to pay for the energy that they use, which I think is a fantastic option if you don't have that funding upfront, which a lot of us don't have. And I think, Marina, one of the issues that I actually have heard from a lot of the from the owners is, but we don't own the facility then, right, Jade? And I keep saying to people, but why do you want to own it? Because you need to remember that with ownership comes all of these responsibilities. So that's your maintenance, your insurance, your replacement costs, your repairs if something goes wrong, and we will sort that out for you. So I think that's a huge benefit that people need to realize is that we take on that risk and will assist you throughout the process, of course, with all the compliance requirements as well as an SSEG applications, getting approval from NERSA if we need to do that. And we also have a qualified team on board, so engineers and, you know, we've got a draftsman and all of that stuff. So, you know, we're going to make sure that your roof doesn't collapse after we install. So I think that's really important to think about. And then finally, of course, so we've got our solar solutions, but we also offer legal advisory if you need any guidance on the process to follow to install solar in your schemes, either for unit owners specifically or a centralized system as well. So those are the ways that SDS helps.
Excellent. Sounds good. I think you need to join me at a couple of breakfasts I've had lately. I was just telling Toby that all the men whip out their phones and they go onto their apps with all the geyser apps, and then they compare. Nowadays, they're comparing how many kilowatts theirs is drawing compared to somebody else's and what percentage of battery there is. So I just, I just want to know that things are going to work and that there's comfort in the fact that I can use certain things. And I think it's brought a feeling of great vulnerability, not only to freehold homes, but obviously to sectional title owners as well. Have you had any cases where there's just absolutely no buy-in? Are people still reluctant, or have they kind of, as a penny dropped that, things are not going to get better?
Yeah, I think the penny has dropped. I don't think things are going to get better. I mean, they're talking about increasing the levels of load shedding going forward, which is insane because we're already at such a stage where, load shedding is such a problem, and for half the day you don't have electricity already. So we need to do something. And not just that, for existing schemes, if you're looking at these new developments like the Baldwin developments, they've got complete energy solutions. So if you want to protect your investments as a property owner, you need to make sure that you've got some sort of solution for your scheme in order to be able to compete in the market. So even if you're just renting out your unit and you don't care if your tenant has power or not, ultimately we need to start thinking about sustainability of your community scheme from an investment point of view as well. So yeah, I think the penny has definitely dropped. If you're not doing something, then you're behind. So yeah, solar is important.
And looking at your website, something else quite interesting struck me, and I'd like you to explain it to us: a common property advertising.
Yeah, so this is actually one of the newest solutions that we've included in our kind of suite of solutions for community schemes. I'm really excited about this one because, as we know, the economy is not doing so well. So we shouldn't be just thinking about, increasing levies, which is important if you need to do so in terms of your budget, but also thinking about revenue generation for your scheme. So in terms of STS Outdoor, what they're looking to do is we will give you free picnic tables, benches, bins, jungle gyms. And then what we will do is we'll put a beautiful advertising board, quite small, on the equipment for you. And then maybe your local coffee shop might want to advertise their coffees and their pastries on that board. We'll organize the advertising for you so you don't have to do anything. And then what we will do is we'll generate revenue for you on those boards. And then that's a way that your scheme can make money. So you get free equipment that your owners can use to sit on or have a picnic. And then, of course, you get some revenue from that as well. And I think the best thing is that it's made out of recyclable materials. So it's also environmentally friendly. So we're really excited about the solution.
Nice. Well, that's thinking out of the box again. I think it's again important. We've got to change the way we look at things and get with it from an advertising point of view.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Marina.
Jade, really great chatting to you. Okay, over to Toby and Maritza. Hi, Toby. Hi, Maritza.
Hello, Marina.
How are you? All
Hi,
good?
Marina.
Welcome. Hey, Maritza.
Excellent.
Lovely to see you guys. Good. Always nice to see you. They look a little bit, if they're looking a little bit wrapped up, it's because it's one of the first cold days in the Cape, everybody. Okay, so you guys, you from WeConnect and you provide an imperative service in our industry in terms of ensuring compliance on the development of software side for schemes. Toby, tell us more about the community management software. I know whenever I'm at a function and you guys are speaking, I always feel like, geez, next week I've got to go on a presentation skills course because you guys are really good with your graphs and your pictures and all your nice things. So, yeah, I see you've popped something on there. Tell us about it.
Firstly, Marina, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity today. We are super thrilled to be part of WiST, and thank you for the work you're doing. We share your passion to educate the industry, and we've got our desire is to see this industry be more professional. And I just wanted to explain what we do a little bit, and the best way to do that is with a couple of slides that I want to go through. So WeConnect, we're a company that has developed property management software. But before I tell you what we do, I just want to rewind a couple of years ago, about 6 years ago, we were ourselves property managers based here in Somerset West with quite a large portfolio of communities that we were managing, and also having a small rental portfolio that we were managing. We were working really, really hard using generic tools to try and juggle all the balls. And 2016, when the Sectional Title Scheme Management Act came out, that's where things changed for us. And we realized we cannot work more hours than we're working. We're struggling to communicate our value to our customers. And we embarked on a journey to start looking for software to help us just juggle all the balls and do our jobs. We couldn't find anything in South Africa that really addressed the unique needs that the STSMA required from us, specifically from a compliance point of view. And when the laws kicked in, our workload increased a lot. And we couldn't necessarily on-sell that extra work to our customers. So we really stuck in a not so nice place. And then we ended up finding a developer that started building software for our company, and starting with financials, because that's the foundation of good property management. And we very soon realized it's changing the way we do things. And we made the big decision to sell that business and specifically focus on property management software. And when we started this journey and when we started building our software, we were sitting in a place where we wanted solutions that helps us to be more compliant, because there's a long list of legislation that we need to comply to on behalf of our customers. And so we wanted something that helps us be more compliant and help them be more compliant. The kind of tools we were using, and which is typically used today by property managers, is generic tools. So finances use an accounting solution, the PMs use Outlook, their phones, spreadsheets, things like that. And it was virtually impossible for us to manage our business because we really never knew what was going on, and we were always out of control. It felt like we were out of control. And this is a tough business, and to grow a sustainable business, you need to add volume and units. And we found that every unit or every community that we added, you don't just gain one building, you gain 200 to 300 customers that want something from you every single day. So we, to just manage the workload, we need to appoint more people. And then above all those things, we were struggling to make money, struggling to be profitable. So when we built our software, every single thing that we build in the solution is aimed at solving these three problems: to help our customers be more compliant, manage their companies, not just within, but from above, scale their business, free up time, free up capacity, and then ultimately help them to be more profitable. So our software is built on 5 pillars, the 5 core pillars of community management. And when I walk into boardrooms every day, my day job is to go and sit with customers that don't have a solution, and they, if I can use the Afrikaans word because there's no other word like it, they gatvol of feeling out of control and just just trying to keep head above water. So our community management software, firstly, focuses on sound financial management. So it's got a built-in accounting solution that addresses the specific needs within body corporate and HOA management. It's got a section that helps with compliance management. So our clients can schedule all compliance items, track it and manage it over the course of a financial year, and give feedback to the trustees that everything is going according to what the law requires. Then property managers very often today just have their phone and Outlook to manage their world. And they are the face of the business. So we wanted to give them tools where they can literally manage those uncontrollable things that happen every day. People parking on the grass, maintenance, repair projects, transfer, clearance certificates, those kind of things. Portfolio managers have got tools within the system to help them manage that on a day-to-day basis. And then a massive amount of time is spent in meetings. So we've got a built-in solution that helps our customers manage meetings in a professional way. And then lastly, one of our biggest challenges when we were still in the chair was transparency. I would say if you're going to ask any any trustee out there, what do you want from your managing agent? They would say, we want good communication, we want transparency, and we want to know that our finances is managed properly. So we've built in amazing reporting that is communicating a lot of aspects regarding the day-to-day workings within a community, from finance to compliance, and also the operational side of the business. So that is in essence what our solution offers. So from a finance point of view, the law requires that you need to have 2 sets of budgets in a body corporate, and our solution helps you to set up an administrative budget and reserve fund budget from one place, whether you've got one trust account or single bank accounts, depending on what your world looks like, and you can manage that from one solution. Then, to save time from a financial point of view, we help the finance guys to do a lot of work in bulk, because then that frees up time for them. A lot of the financial processing day-to-day is manual, and we want to automate that. Then in the last 2-3 years, arrears has become a massive problem. Our stats show that arrears levels have gone up by 20 to 25%. And our solution helps our customers to, whether they're debt collectors or not, to run automatic arrears management workflows within the company. And if they're debt collectors, they can use the system for that as well. Your PMs are empowered to literally manage all the unknowns within a community, the knowns and unknowns within a community. They manage compliance, they manage meetings, there's modules for maintenance and repairs. They can issue warnings and penalties directly from the system, issue clearance certificates and track and trace transfers. We've got built-in email and SMS functionalities. Utilities is a massive challenge with what's going on in municipalities, and our system allows for just automated recovery of utilities. And then all the documents that's part and parcel of what we need to run our day-to-days living within the system. And then we wanted to unlock that transparency that everybody is looking for. So literally everybody, every stakeholder, whether it's your staff within your company, your trustees having their own portal, the homeowners having their own portal, estate managers, the auditors and debt collectors, they're all logging to the system and they all collaborate in the same place. So we always say we love to bring the team together. And then to help manage the business, there's dashboards that's giving feedback on every single aspect of your portfolio as a whole, but also your community on its own. So it's really, really easy to identify red flags, see where things aren't going well, and then to do something about it so that we can become more proactive. And then lastly, the highlight for me is just the way our system reports. We really believe in communicating everything that you do. Sometimes the property manager, we shoot ourselves in the foot by sending just financial information every single month, which is pretty much a portion of what you do, but it's not telling the whole story. And we really believe that you need to communicate every single thing that you are bringing to the table, because you are managing a huge asset on behalf of your customers. And you're protecting that promise that they bought into of living in a safe, secure, and well-run community. And our reports give feedback to trustees every single month in a way that is clear to understand. You don't have to be an accountant to understand it. And they love that part of the reporting. So that's in a nutshell what we do. It's really a end-to-end solution. It's an online solution. So yeah.
I love the visual. It just makes it so much easier. And I think that's where our world is headed, to visuals and videos and this kind of thing. I wanted to also ask, who's been the most interested sort of player in what you do? Is it managing agents? Is it the owners? Who have you had the most buy-in from?
Yeah, so it's definitely the managing agents. Our solution was built by property managers, for property managers. So that's by far our focus and the people that we are trying to empower and are empowering. So I would say the managing agents. We do get a lot of requests from trustees. Unfortunately, there's quite a lot of trustees that feel they're not always getting the value. And I think it's that transparency, communication gap that they're finding. And our customer is 100% the property manager. So we don't deal directly with body corporates or trustees. but they are the big winners when it comes to our clients using the solution. So I would say by far the property managers.
Yeah, and then the owners are the beneficiaries, literally. Maritza, can I ask you, what are the challenges facing managing agents that WeConnect you can most likely help with?
Thanks, Marina. So what we've seen is we actually did a survey end of last year, and we asked our customer base, what is the top 3 challenges that you're facing? And I think the people on the call will be there will be no surprise if I tell you that the biggest one was emails, high volumes of emails. And then the second one was actually the effort that goes with rising debt. And then meeting effort was also mentioned. So I want to touch on each of these 3 points very briefly. The first thing, let's talk about emails. I mean, we know that portfolio managers or community managers, as we call them today, they spend a lot of time in their inbox, which is inherently a reactive tool. You're waiting for the email before you can reply to the email. And we believe that we need to be more proactive. There's a certain area of our world that we can control, the compliance area. We know we have to do certain things because it's almost predictable. And if we ask portfolio managers now, would you say that a big part of your life is predictable? They would definitely not say yes, because they're handling it all in a reactive way. You know, they're kind of waiting for the trustee to ask for a meeting instead of going proactively and saying, okay, it's time for a meeting. So we things that's being managed today on calendars, on sticky notes, on Excel spreadsheets, we've kind of actually very, very nicely explained. We brought it onto one place and have a whole workflow process that we teach our clients on how to be more proactive in the approach. I think we heard debt is quite a topic. A lot of people on the panels already mentioned it. But I think what was interesting to hear was that only 30% of the market is getting paid for debt collection. So the debt is rising at we just mentioned it, 25%. So the effort is actually increasing. But as managing agents, we're not getting paid for that extra effort that we are doing to get the debt in. So the system also allows you to automatically do that. And usually people say, I don't want to charge every 10 or 20 Rand for every email, because the effort that it takes to actually do the charging and collecting of the money is just too much effort. So the automation of that in the system is definitely a big benefit. And to be mentioned, the effort that increased. So with this all, we've also seen that our prices in the industry haven't really caught up with the increase in effort. So our stats show that our management fee should be in the vicinity of 170 Rand if we really are compensated for our increased effort. And I know everyone on the call, if you compare that to what you are charging per unit, looking at the middle piece of the market, not the very big estates and the very small ones, we're still not there yet. And I think that is one of the big challenges as well: increased effort, but not really getting the money to compensate for it. Lastly, the last challenge that I wanted to mention was meeting effort. So meetings is massive in the community manager's world. So the average time that it takes effort-wise for an AGM is 7 hours. So that is all the planning before the time of prepping and getting the invitation out and all of the after the meeting work, 7 hours. So the PM is actually 60 to 70% of his time is busy planning, prepping, in meeting, after meeting actions. So it's a massive part of his world, purely from an effort perspective. So what we've built is, Kelly mentioned, this meeting space. And meeting space is really a tool that not only helps within the meeting, conducting meetings, it's also the whole process of planning it before the time, conducting the meeting, getting the owners to vote online, automating the reports, the vote reports, and then afterwards doing your minutes really easy, and then managing those post-meeting action items. So because we really do believe that saving time in this area is a massive win for the community manager, and ultimately also a massive win for industry. If we can get these meetings to be more professional and efficient, I'm sure all owners and trustees will be very happy.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maritza. I know that's a bane of my life, is long meetings. Absolutely hate long meetings. I don't have a meeting longer than an hour, so I wouldn't be good at any AGM. When I said, what in your opinion are some of the biggest challenges managing agents face, I would have probably answered people. People are the biggest challenges that managing agents face.
That is so true.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think a lot of people have lost the plot in the last few months, and I've never had so many strange issues crossing my desk or strange characters crossing my desk. But the less we say about that, the better. Thank you for that. Right, now, Alistair Skoltz and Monique van Wyk from PKF Octagon. Very warm welcome to you guys as well. Monique, I'm very glad that you just popped in there. We can talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Marina.
Thank you, Marina.
So what would you say are the most common issues that you notice when auditing financials of a body corporate?
You'd be surprised, Marina. It's the very basics. We look at income, for starters, PQs or levies being calculated incorrectly, incorrect PQs being applied. We look at exclusive use areas, either not charged correctly or not charged at all. CSOS levies, absolutely. But I mean, those calculations are wrong. When we audit, we tend to recalculate all of those, and those are where all these surprises crop up. The big one lately is insufficient fidelity cover insurance. Virtually every scheme.
And reserves. Our reserves are usually a challenge. Finding people are not having reserves in their books at all.
Correct. And coupled to the reserves, there's not usually a separate bank account for that. Well, not usually, but it does happen. Okay, let me just have a quick look here. I mentioned on that insurance premiums, recoveries. It's on the policy. A lot of buildings don't recover those or recover them incorrectly. So those I think are our biggies.
And accrual, we find that people are not accruing for the expenses correctly. So, for instance, they won't have the accrual at month end or at year end, for instance, but only flow into the next year. So you'll have 1 year having a big expense and the next year having a smaller expense, so it doesn't look in line. So, I mean, it's very basic things that we are finding currently that people are not accounting for properly.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and incomplete records. We often get told everything's in order. You literally have to tick. It's hardly ever the case.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, with the proposed legislation, we chatted about it at the NAMA Expo, about if they're 9 units or less, they're bringing back the legislators are bringing back the accounting officer to be able to do the books. What are your thoughts on that?
That will be okay. I mean, from our point of view, as long as there's some sort of accountability.
I think as long as, Marina, we've had a chat about it, you and I've had a chat about it. We don't see an issue with that. I think as long as, at minimum, they're disclosing what's required in terms of Reg 21, 24, 26. The additional audit procedures obviously won't be there because it's not a full-on audit.
So they must at least give a guidance as to what the report needs to look at. Like, if the compiler is going to sign it off, give us a guidance as to what that report needs to look at. But I think as an auditor, an independent review would be a much better assurance report and would also give the user some sort of assurance that there's some sort of work that was done on that set of financial statements.
And just back to your other question, Marina, you and I have had this discussion about the 9 units. We've discussed that ourselves, and we just, we'd like to know how that figure arose. Why 9 units and less? Because if you're looking at it from a financial point of view and affordability, because you do get what you pay for, and a proper audit does cost money. So I'd almost say, you could look at 20 units, possibly even more, that a full-on audit is still not affordable for. So I'm very curious, or we are very curious to understand the 9 unit, where it comes from.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be given every opportunity quite soon once that draft bill comes out, definitely. Serena, I see asked something about putting arrear levies and listing a list of units within the annual financial statements. Is that right, Serena?
Yes, we've had sort of some inquiries, and we have different auditors saying different things. So one auditor will say, you can get that from the managing agents. We can't list that in the annual financial statements. And other auditors, and they will say because of POPI. I think we've all lost the plot with POPI, to be honest. We need to have some sort of practical sense. But anyway, and then other auditors will say, no, that's fine. And they will list the units, not just the numbers, but sometimes the owner's surnames, which obviously we would prefer, because I think it needs to be clear and transparent. Like we were saying, you know, owners, trustees, they all just want transparency. And that's what they're asking for and expecting from the AFS as well.
Your views on that, guys?
Marina, so we generally, Serena, to answer your question, we don't put names anymore personally. Also, I think because for us it's also a little bit the grey area. We do list. You're required to have an age analysis per the regulations, so we do. It's actually one of the, you know, Marina, you know, we have some questions to answer, and that's one of the things which is missing, or which we've noted is missing. We do put in a detailed age analysis, but we restrict it to unit number at this stage. It's not, I tend to agree with you, we've gone a little bit crazy with this, because it is, if you're living there, you know who lives in unit 12. It's not a secret. It may, obviously, there could be external people that could be looking at it, and we could become a bit of a grey area, but from our point of view, it's required in terms of the regulations, and we do list the unit numbers. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Thanks, Serena. So what other services do you offer at PK of Octagon, in addition to audits and benefits associated with the audits?
I mean, we offer accounting services, so that would be, for instance, to write up the books of the body corporate, for instance, if there's no managing agent involved, taxation services, secretarial services, so that would be in your HOAs where there's changes in directives and changes in the MOI. We have a few back officers that will be able to assist with those processes. So the auditor as such, for instance, myself, I won't be going with CIPC and doing those changes. We've got a great support team that is fully skilled to do it.
Also, Marina, I mean, not so much necessarily for the body corporates, but for the homeowners out there, you know, our larger estates often need attendance at AGM to count voting, to confirm the voting processes. We would do that kind of stuff. Forensic audits, if required, or specific assignments, that areas that require an auditor's or a report of sorts. Training, absolutely. If they are managing agents there, you know, like I said, we see a lot of records, and as much as people think things are in line and up to date, it's not always the case. So I think any sort of service related to the financial side of community schemes, obviously being careful of our independence, you know, and all those kind of requirements, we can absolutely assist with.
And another question by Serena, registering for tax, a body corporate for tax, it's ours.
Absolutely.
We do that. As mentioned, we have a team, and they follow the correct channels to get it registered.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Thank you both. Appreciate it. And congratulations. I see that you guys are gaining a lot of momentum in the larger estates, which I'm happy about, because those guys definitely need some help with their audits.
Thank you.
So everybody, thank you. We've come to the end of our webinar. I could actually sit and talk to you guys for the whole day, but we value your input. We value the fact that you are assisting us and sponsoring us. We don't for 1 minute underestimate the value of great industry partners, and that's what we see that you are, and hopefully we can be partners for a very, very long time to come. So thank you. For our next webinar, we're going to be interviewing Marlon Chevalier, who is an attorney in Cape Town, who deals with rental matters, eviction of owners and difficult tenants, and how it all works, what that relationship is. So I look forward to seeing everybody next month. Take care, look after yourselves, and you guys in Cape Town, keep warm. Thank you.
Thanks, Marina. Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks, Marina. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.